welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. Today, I am going to be reading from a Reddit thread. I'm trying a new format here, giving you guys some story times and some real life accounts of individuals who have left religion, Christianity, and so many other spiritual organizations and, well, religious organizations, and giving real-time reactions to the stories as well as my 2 cents on their stories. And I think this is a great way to kick off, some new, relatable, authentic content that really does draw out other people's experiences and are not so isolated on my own. Because there's so many times, honey, I can tell my story and I don't have time to beat no dead horse, okay? All right, so let's get into it. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are returning for the 52nd or the 110th time, welcome back. I thank you guys so much for being a part of all I do over here on the My 2 Cents platform, and I appreciate you guys being a part of it. If you want to send your story in on deconverting or on deconstruction, go ahead, drop down in the description box and get the email address and send your story in as well for me to read here on my platform anonymously. Or if you want to give you like, boo, I'm through, okay? You can tell them who would do, okay? Not what it do, but who did it, okay? What it do, who would do. Anyway, okay. 3 points that matter most before I start any discussion here. Number 1, you're not alone. Number 2, you're not crazy. Number 3, God, your creator, still loves you, and I do too. So let's get into it. Here we have a poster, and this story was actually shared on Reddit 10 years ago. So it's a little bit, it's a little way back, but I like getting into stories. All right, so let's do this one. The title of it is How Christianity Nearly Ruined My Life. My trip from a hardcore Christian to an atheist. Ooh. Some of y'all may be like, ooh, they big mad. I'm talking about super. Get the cake. Super done. Super done. Here. All right, first off, let me begin by saying this is something I've never really talked about before, so it's still somewhat touchy. I've never really been able to speak about it with anyone else. I'm sorry, y'all. I've never been able to speak about it with anyone else due to the fact that I would have probably been thrown out of my home. In any case, here goes. In the words of one of my favorite gaming characters, this is my story. Ooh-wee! Now that part about if they had spoke about it anytime prior, they would have been thrown out of their home, that's real. A lot of people are disowned and disassociated with when they leave a religious organization. Don't believe me? Watch any cult documentary. And back to the story. I grew up in an extremely religious household. My parents go to church every Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Monday night, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday morning. No, I'm not joking. I'm 100% serious. My father is the leader of the prayer team, and my mother is just as devout, though slightly less involved. The entire time I was growing up, I was presented only with one-sided explanations and very biased views. As far as I was concerned, atheists, sorry, it gets better. People were to be damned to the fires of hell. And the only way I could possibly help them was to convert them. I had accepted this at a very young age, around 2 or 3. Now you're telling me that as a 2 or 3-year-old, you were made to understand and to accept that anyone else who didn't believe like you all were condemned and damned to hell. Now, atheism is one of those kind of things where you don't even need to have a deep description or explanation for what it is. It's just people that don't believe in God at all, and it's over with for them. Like in most religions, no one's really going to explain atheism to you because they just don't believe God exists. We're done here. So we're not going to engage with them, right? We're not going to give them supporting evidence. We're not going to try to give them facts to, sway them. We're just going to tell them they're wrong and hell is their portion. And this is a lot of our experiences. But I think the even sadder thing about it is it keeps you from even being able to commune with or have relationship with other people who don't believe like you. And that is the beginning of the bondage, especially when you're raising up children in this belief. We begin to separate ourselves from friends, from classmates, from teachers, from coworkers. We start removing ourselves from other people groups where we just can have life-on-life experiences. We should be able to go to lunch with these people, but just because they don't believe like us, wrong. We're not going to do that. So this is very interesting to know that this was in him from childhood, like toddlerism. Okay, that's crazy to me. Over the next few years, up until I was around 10 years old, I began delving into the secrets of the Bible. I accepted everything I read, though at times I would see something and just wonder how that could be possible. Everyone in my family, myself excluded, is exceptionally intelligent when compared with your average acquaintance. Now, this person writing and saying everyone in my family is exceptionally intelligent and saying myself excluded. It's like, don't dumb yourself down when it comes to your level of intelligence, because I'd say you were smarter than they were because you've gotten out of it. That's just my take on it, but let's keep going. So no, give yourself more credit, all right? Give yourself way more credit. You are just as, if not more intelligent than the average acquaintance, including with your family, because you got out of this. You were awakened to the truth and the understanding of the logic, and you removed yourself from it. So kudos to you, okay? I believe this was the basis of my distrust of what I was learning, as I was always told to think critically. At the time, I hadn't identified it as distrust, but looking back, that's what it came to be. Yes, think for yourself. Critical thinking is a skill that is vacant out here. It is literally gone in a lot of settings. Think critically for yourself, and no one else will ever be able to tell you what to think. If you can think for yourself critically, look at all of the details and information that has been provided and given to you, and go through that and dissect it and piece some things together and think of all scenarios and take all of the supporting facts and details that you have. Think critically to assess a situation for the benefit of yourself first. All right? Okay. Forward again, age 11 to 15, I went to many camps and activities with my church friends. We grew in Christ to the point where I saw many of my friends overcome by the Holy Spirit. I, however, never had this personal experience. However, I desperately craved it. It seemed like the ultimate goal. I wanted to know God on a personal level, the way that I saw my family, my friends, and my church mates achieving it. It was around this time that my mother told me that the most important thing to her in life was to make sure she raised us kids to be devout Christians. And if she didn't, she'd feel as though her life had been a failure. I still remember this moment clear as day. It haunts me, even now, as I've cast off the religious ties. I know that someday soon, when she finds out my true feelings, this is what's in store for her. In any case, back to the story. So the weight of being told by your parent that if you are not saved, or you're not in church, or if you're not a religious affiliate, they will feel like they're a failure. That's a heavy burden to put on a child. Heavy weight. Heavy weight. Your beliefs are so important to you that you'd feel like a failure if I didn't accept them in my adulthood. I've talked about this so many times in previous videos of mine. Trying to use my father's old car from the 70s or the 60s would probably not work out for me. Trying to use old, like they say, you cannot unlock new doors with old keys. You can't do that. That key don't fit in this new door. And that's how it is with religion. Your beliefs are yours, and I may have had to be raised under them because I was your child. But now that I'm old enough to form my own beliefs, that doesn't make you a failure. I just chose something different, and that's okay. Oh my goodness. Ages 15, early 17, I went through a rough patch, but relied heavily on God to get through it. This strengthened my resolve to experience God in a new and powerful way. After this rough time had passed, I was the most devout person in the world. I was convinced it was my lone duty to convert everyone and save their souls forever. I'm that kind of person. I truly want to help people. It was also at this time that I swore to God that should my life ever need be taken to save someone else, especially someone who wasn't saved, then I wanted it to happen. I began living my life looking for opportunities to protect everyone, a noble cause. but founded on rash and terrible principles. That's devout. I'm sorry. I ain't never been that level of a Christian, honey. Ever. And my name is Christian. When I informed my parents of this, they simply smiled and cheered me on. Can you imagine going to your parents and having them be proud of the fact that you're looking for opportunities to die, even to help someone else? I want to be clear here. I wasn't just generally looking to help people. I was seeking death as a way to achieve the ultimate sacrifice and become as close to God as possible. This is a 15-year-old at this point. Looking back, I can only call myself crazy. I'm still the person that always helps others, but I'm not actively looking to lay down my life just because I was taught about prophets and religious people in the Bible that had done it. I was seeking my own Christian jihad. How messed up is that? If this is what it's giving, I don't want it to be gave to you or to anybody else. Late 17, present mid 18 years of age. One of my teachers that I can honestly say is one of the coolest people I've ever met teaches my government class. Around the same time, my friend introduced me to Reddit. Naturally, being a youngin', I started out on gaming just for laughs. However, because of this teacher, I started to actually care about what was going on. This is responsible for my expansion into other subreddits. I began looking at politics, which allowed me to see all of the idiotic things going on with the religious people in the current election. And this is over 10 years ago, so place that wherever you want to for the time and date at that time. As well as many other attempted obstruction of basic human rights in the name of religious extremism. Naturally, this being the first year I can vote, I was appalled to see what was going on during this time due to what I saw. I began to question my faith really for the first time. It was bad. I couldn't imagine this God I'd been following allowing all these terrible things to happen all over the world. After all, why create us just to force us into hell? And that's the biggest point that I've been trying to make on all of my videos for everybody to look at just from a logical, basic, critical thinking standpoint. Why on earth would a perfect God create imperfect people to only send them to hell? Why do you have to create a space for me? Why not just make me perfect from the beginning so I never disappoint you? Wouldn't that make you equally a failure and not perfect as everybody in religions claim that you are? I don't think that that's God's initial or only purpose for us in existence. There's so much more. But we are condensing our Creator to heaven and hell only, in Christianity specifically. Okay, so where was I? After all, why create us just to force us into hell? All kinds of questions began springing up. Then I noticed atheism on the top of my suggestion bar. At the time, I was honestly afraid to click it. I didn't for a few months. I still wanted to be Christian, and it was a terrifying thought to go in and see what you guys might be saying. 3 or so months later, after being tired of chasing after God so much and never hearing anything back, I clicked on the link. Suddenly, I was here and learning that all the things I thought were impossible were suddenly being proven by science. I learned that what I had learned as a Christian was actually the far less reasonable viewpoint. My mind began to unravel as I delved deeper into knowledge, which has long been named power, and began tearing down the walls of my brainwashing. I now rely on myself instead of many imaginary figureheads and realize that my accomplishments are my own. As such, my life has far more meaning now knowing that what I accomplish isn't just charity from God. Whew! Now that is weighty. That sentence I shall repeat, okay? As such, my life has far more meaning now knowing that what I accomplished isn't just charity from God. There are a lot of people in religious organizations and with religious beliefs who think that the blessings that they get, the favor that they get is just God being kind that day, doing a little act of charity on their behalf. Oh, let me sprinkle this on you. You're down there suffering. Let me save her one more time, child. I don't feel like it, but that's the least I can do. No, that ain't it. It's not giving. It's not getting that from our Savior, okay? Future tense. I still haven't told my parents the way I think for obvious reasons. I will surely be thrown out of their lives as best case scenario. However, I can say this. Due to the crazy brainwashing that I endured for years upon years, it nearly cost myself my own life. I nearly cost myself my own life in the name of a cause that doesn't exist. Thank you, atheism, for potentially saving my life. Wow. That is powerful. That's a powerful way to start this new content here on My 2 Cents. To read all of that and to organize those thoughts and to organize those accounts and those experiences are very weighty. It's a very personal thing to do, and shout out to you and thank you for submitting that and for sharing that with all of us in whatever way you needed to find that healing or to understand that your path to freedom was different than anybody else's path probably will ever be. And knowing the staunch Christian religious household that you came from, that you survived and you got out of it, even if you haven't been able to tell your parents or your family about it, you still made it out. You still have made the conscious effort and decision to remove yourself from something that is no longer serving you. And the points that I made throughout this, I don't want to reiterate and go back over it and, beat it like a dead horse, so I won't do that. But there's so many great points in here about what religion will do to you and how it will strip you of your own identity to make you feel as if though whatever you do get, whatever does come your way, whatever experience you do have that are good, is simply God's charity for the day. God just wants to do something kind for somebody, honey. But you deserve all of that. Put yourself in the place of worthiness. Put yourself in the place of power. Put yourself in the place of greatness, because who else should get that glory? You're doing the work. You're showing up in your life. You're putting in the action. You're believing in the possibility. And religion steals that from so many of us. So many of us are walking around like zombies because we believe in God, but we don't believe in ourselves. And last time I checked, a lot of y'all walking around saying you're made in the likeness and image of God. So why are you so hard on yourself? You're suffering for an unjust cause. But, yep, this was good. I like it. I like where this is going. I'm so excited. Go ahead, submit your stories in the description box below. I would love to hear your story, love to share it. Unbiased opinions, of course, but give me my 2 cents as well to make sure that you're supported, you're heard, and hey, this could be therapy for you to just be able to hear to be able to share and hear the feedback and know that other people can relate to you. And even if they can't, they're still going to feel for you because you're human and you are not alone. All right? Okay. So mytwocentmatters@gmail.com is open for you to go and be free. And I can't wait to hear from you. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below and let me know. I would love to add you to my 2 cents crew. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Bye.